Hello guys, welcome to another video. This one is paper 2-1 of October-November 2020 for IGCSE at Math paper 2. Now with that being said, let's move on to question number 1. So here we have to solve the inequality. As you can see, on one side we have modulus and here we have more than 8 plus x. So what we can do right now is we can just square both sides. Let's try that. You will have 3x plus 2 square. So by squaring both sides, you eliminate the modulus. That's the first step. And then we just have to simplify one by one. So you will have what? 9x squared plus 12x plus 4 more than 64 plus, that will be 2 times this, that should be 16x plus x squared. Now send everything to one side, you will have 9x squared minus 1, that should be 8x squared. 12 minus 16, that should be minus 4x, plus 4 minus this will be minus 60, is more than 0. But now you can see that every number is even. We can divide by 2, or we can try divide by 4. Let's see what happens. Okay, so you will have 2x squared minus x minus 15 is more than 0. Now, I hope you know by now, so whenever you have this kind of equation, with more than, we have to first find the critical values of that equation. That will be 2x squared minus x minus 15 is equal to 0. That's the first step to find the critical values. That will be 2x times x. And here we have 15. 15 is 3 times 5. Sorry, yeah, 3 times 5. We have to put 3 here and 5 here. Makes sense, right? To get minus 1, we have to have minus 6 and plus 5. So x have to be minus 5 over 2 and x have to be the value of 3. Now let's find the solution. We have to look at the graph. That will be 0, right? Because this is plus 2, the graph will have a shape of this. That will be the critical values. This will be minus 5 over 2 and this should be 3. Now, as you can see, we want the value to be more than 0, so it will be this part and this part, which means x has to be less than minus 5.2 or x has to be more than 3. That will be question number 1. Okay, so let's move on to question number 2. We have to find the coordinates of the points of intersection of the curve and the line. So whenever you see intersection, it means we have to solve these two simultaneously. Now here we have equation number 1, here we have equation number 2, right? So here we have y equal to this, we can replace y in this. You will have x squared plus x, y is 2 over 3x minus 2 is equal to 9. Now we have to simplify. Let's see what do we get. We get this plus 2 over 3, that will be x squared, and then minus 2x have to be 9. Now we can multiply by 3 everywhere. To simplify, you will have 3x squared plus 2x minus 6x. This will be square, sorry. Minus 6x will be 27. Simplify, that will be 5x squared minus 6x minus 27 to be 0. Now we can try to factorize this to see what's going to happen. So that will be 5x times x. 27 is what? 27 is 9 times 3. So let's see, what can we use? We can use 3 here and we can use 9 here. To get minus 6, we have to have minus 15 plus 9. So x will be minus 9 over 5. X will be 3. So let's find the corresponding values of y, I guess. So y will be 2 over 3x minus 2. X, so y will be 2 over 3 times x minus 2. That will be what? So 2 over 3 times minus 9 over 5 minus 2. That will be minus 3 1/5. And here y will be 2 over 3 times 3 minus 2. That should be 0. As you can see, the first value here will be, the first point will be minus 9 over 9 minus 3 1/5 and this will be 3 and 0. And that is your question number 2. Okay, so now we can move on to question number 3. So here we have to write down this expression as a single logarithms. As you can see, these two we can simplify first. You will have what? Less than the 3 here. You will have log x power 3 minus log of y. Now what is log? It is basically log to the base of 10. Now as you can see 2, what is 2? 2 is 2 times 1. And now what is 1? 1 is log to the base of 10 to the value of 10. That will be 2 log 10, 10. That makes sense. Now I can send this, of course, to the top. You will have log to the base of 10, and that should be 100. So simply 2 will become plus lg of 100. Okay, now we can simplify lg. That will be x power 3 divided by, so minus this divided by this and multiply by 100. So you have lg or log to the base of 10, that will be cube over y as your answer. That is question number 3. Now question number 4, given that y is equal to this expression between this domain, find dy by dx. So step by step, dy by dx will be what? First thing first will be 1 over the value inside of the ln, that will be sin x plus 3 cos x, then multiply by d by dx of this same value. Let's see what you get. Okay, so that will be 1 over sin x plus 3 cos x, and this will give you cos x minus 3 sin x. So simplify. You will have cos x minus 3 sin x over sin x plus 3 cos x as your answer for part 1, d by dx. Now part B, we have to find the value of x for which d by dx is minus half. So since we know what is d by dx, we can just replace that by part 1 to see what happens. So you will have cos x minus 3 sin x over sin x plus 3 cos x is equal to minus half. First step, we can just cross multiply. You will see that we'll have 2 cos x minus 6 sin x equal to minus sin x minus 3 cos x. Okay, let's try to simplify this to see what happens. So let's send everything to one side first. You will have 2 cos x plus 3, that should be 5 cos x, minus 6 plus 1 should be minus 5 sin x. As always, whenever we have cos and sin on the same line or equation, we can just divide by cos x everywhere. You will have 5 minus 5 tan x over 0. You will have 5 tan x is equal to 5, and tan x is simply equal to 1. Now we can simply solve this equation. As you can see, tan is positive. It will be in your first quadrant and in your third quadrant. That will be your value of x, and this will be the value of 180 minus plus x, sorry, for tan. So x has to be tan inverse of 1, which is 45 degrees, and this will be what? 180 plus 45 should be 225, but let's check. Yep, 225 degrees. But now let's verify the domain that we are working with. As you can see, we are working for the values of x between the value of 0 and 90 degrees. So we won't be able to take this value, we'll be outside the range. So x will be 45 degrees, or you have to write in terms of radians, that will be pi by 4 radians for your answer. And that is question number 4. Okay, so let's move on to question number 5. The first three terms in the expansion of this are given to you by this. Okay, so if you want to expand this, you will get this. Find the value of each a, b, and c. Now integers or whole numbers can be positive or negative, but they have to be whole numbers a, b, c. So step by step, if you were to expand this, what would you get? You will get 1 times a plus bx power 5 and plus x times abx power 5. Now let's try to simplify one by one. So let's first find what is the expansion of this. As you can see, we only need to expand this to the term of x squared. So the first term is 5, choose 0. We have a, b of x, so 0 here, that will be 0, and this will be 5. Next one, 5, choose 1, that will be a, b of x, that will be 1, that will be 4, and then 5, choose 2, that should be a, b of x, that should be 2 and 3. So we can stop here because we only care about the term until x squared, so we can stop right here. Now simplify, that will be 5 choose 0 is 1, that should be a power 5, and that should be 1. 5 choose 1 is 5, that should be a power 4, that should be bx, and that should be 10, that should be a power 3, b squared, x squared. Now check your answer, 5 choose 2 should be 10, right? So this is just the simplification of those terms. You will have that. And then let's see what happens. So first one becomes a power 5 plus 5a power 4 bx and plus 10a power 3 b squared x squared. Now replace those values in your main equation. So first one we have 1 times this, you will get the same thing, which is a power 5 plus 5a power 4 bx plus 10 a cube square x2, and then x times this, same thing, you will have ax, you will have a power 5x, right? So this times this, a power 5x, and then you will have plus 5a power 4 bx squared. That makes sense. Okay, so we can stop right here because we don't want any term more than this. So let's simplify to see what happens. So here we have plus. We have to plus the two terms together. You will have first term is a power 5 plus, that will be 5a power 4b plus a power 5x, and then finally 10a power 3b squared plus 5a power 4b x squared. According to the question, we know that this is supposed to be this, right? So that should be 32 minus 208x plus cx squared. So by comparing, we can see that a power 5 has to be 32, which means a has to be what? So if you know, it should be just 5 because 32 power 1 over 5, that should give you 2. That will be 2 for the value of a. Now for this one, let's try to form an equation. You will have 5a power 4b plus a power 5 has to give you minus 208. Simplify, 5 times 2 power 4 times b plus 32 is minus 208. So that will be what? 2 power 4 is 16 times 5. That will be 80. b plus 32 has to be minus 208. Simplify, 80b has to be minus 208 minus 32, that should be minus 240, so b has to be this divided by 80, that should be minus 3. So the value of b will be minus 3. Now finally, to find the value of c, we have to compare these two. Let's see what happens. So c is given by 10, a power 3 will be 2 power 3, b squared minus 3 squared plus 5, a power 4 minus 3. So what do you have? 10, 2 power 3, 9, plus 5, 2 power 4 times minus 3. That should be 480. This will be my value of C. Let me double check in case I made some silly mistake. So 10 times 8 times 9, that should be 720. Here we have 5 times 2 power 4 times minus 3, that should be minus 240, and that should give you what? 720 minus 240, 480. So it seems to be fine. So the values of A is 2, B is minus 3, and C has to be 480, and these three are integers as required for question number 5. Let's move on to question number 6. So here we did not use a calculator in this question. But now I've seen some comments in the section below. So when I use a calculator, they mentioned that, hey, the question says do not use a calculator. So at the same time, what it really means is please show all your steps for your work. But now if you want to double check your answer with a calculator, guess what? No one is watching you, so you can absolutely use a calculator to check the answers, but obviously you have to show every step to get your full marks. It's not that it is so strict that they are watching you that you cannot use your calculator. Okay, so now let's move on to the questions. So in the diagram above, we have AC as root 3 plus 1, okay, and we have AB as root 3 plus 1. So AC is this one actually. So now we have angle ABC is 15 and angle CAB is 90. As you can see, ABC is a right angle triangle. That's the first thing we have seen on the diagram. So part 1, we have to show that tan 15 is 2 minus root 3. So step by step, since we have a right angle triangle, we can use SOHCAHTOA to find tan, right? So tan of the angle 15 is what? It is your opposite side, which is this one, over your adjacent side. That will be root 3 plus 1. Okay, so now let's simplify. So multiply by the conjugate. So root 3 minus 1, root 3 minus 1. That will give you what? That will give you root 3 minus 1 square over, that will be root 3, this. Okay, so simplify. That will be 3 minus 2 root 3 plus 1 over the value of 3 minus 1. That will be 4 minus 2 root 3, and that should be 2, and you have 2 minus root 3. And this is shown as required for part A. Now for part B, we have to find the exact length of BC. Okay, now where's BC? BC is this one. As you can see, we have a right angle triangle. So what can we use? We can use the Pythagoras theorem, which means we can do, for example, we have AC square plus AB square. It has to be BC square. So let's use that equation to find BC. So BC square has to be AC square, which is root 3 minus 1 square, plus AB square, root 3 plus 1 square. So let's simplify. You will have what? So here you will have 3 minus 2 root 3 plus 1, then plus 3 plus 2 root 3 plus 1. That will give you, so 3 plus 3. So 3 plus 1 plus 3 plus 1, that should be 8, and these two cancel out, as you can see, right? Because here we have minus root 3 plus 2 root 3, they will cancel out. You have 8, so BC square is the value of 8. So BC has to be root of 8, which is 2 times 4. That should be root 4 times root 2, and that will be 2 root 2. And here we have centimeters for your unit. So that will be your answer, finding the exact length of BC for part B of question number 6. Let's move on to question number 7. So here again, do not use a calculator. We just have to show all the steps of your work to get full marks. Now part 1, find the value of P of half. It just means that we have to replace the value of x by half. Okay, you will have 2 half power 3 minus 3 half power 2 minus 2 3 1 over 2 plus 12. 2, 1 over 8, minus 3, 1 over 4, minus 23 over 2, plus 12. So to simplify, you will have 1 over 4 minus 3 over 4 minus, that should be, so let's change that to 4 as well. So multiply by 2 and 2, that should be 46 over 4 and plus 48 over 4. Right, so same thing. Now we can simplify with a base of 4. You will have 1 minus 3 minus 46 plus 48. This will be plus 2, right? So minus 46 plus 48 plus 2. 1 minus 3 is minus 2 plus 2 will be 0. So your answer will be 0, part A. Now for part B, and of course, you can always check your answer using your calculator. Why not? So 1 over 4 minus 3 over 4 minus 46 over 4. And we have what? We have minus, so plus 48 over 4. That should be 0 as confirmed. Now next part to see what do we have. So part B. So we have to write p of x as a product of 3 linear factors, hence solve this. So pretty easy. As you can see, p of x is what? It is a cubic function. And you guys know by this point, to solve a cubic function, we have to first find a factor. So as you can see, because p of half is equal to 0 for the value of x equal to half, it means that x minus half is a factor. Or you can write, this is the same thing as 2x minus 1. Okay, so just to explain why it is the same thing. So when you have x equal to half, we can first cross multiply. You will have 2x equal to 1. And when you send 1 here, you have 2x minus 1. So this part will be the factor. So this or this is the same thing. But the point is, we know that this one is a factor because it is equal to 0. So we can use this as my first linear factor. Now to find the other two, we have to perform long division. So let's do that. That will be 3x squared minus 23x plus 12. So 2x minus 1. So first thing first, how can you make 2x become 2x cubed multiplied by 1 first, and then x power 2? That will be 2x cubed minus x squared. Cancel out, you'll have minus 3 plus 1 is minus 2, x squared minus 23x plus 12. Okay, now to make 2x become minus 2x squared multiplied by minus 1x, you will have minus 2x squared plus x. Cancel out. That will be minus 24x plus 12. Now same steps. How can you make 2x become minus 24x? Multiply by minus 12. Right? You will have minus 24x plus 12. Has to give you 0. So the point is that whenever you multiply by a factor, p of x, the remainder has to be 0. So right now we know this is the same thing as 2x minus 1, and then this one, which is x squared minus x minus 12. So let's see what do we have. That will be, we can factorize the other side as well. That will be x times x. 12 is 4 times 3. To get minus 1, we have to have minus 4 plus 3. So this is the factorization as a product of 3 linear factors. And to solve this, hence using that, pretty easy to solve. We just have to equate that to 0. You will have x is half, x is 4, and x is equal to minus 3. Okay, that is question number 7. Now, so let's move on to question number 8. The population P in millions of a country is given by this equation, where P is population, A times BT. Now, where t is the number of years after January 2000, a and b are constants. Okay. In January 2010, okay, as you can see, so what does that mean? It is t is the number of years after this. So in 2010, that should be t is equal to 10. Okay. So the population was 40 million, sorry. So P was 40 million and had increased to 45 by this. So P was 45 when time equal to 13. Okay, that's the information we can derive from that line. Now part A, we have to show that the value of B is 1.04 to 2 decimal place and find the value of A to the nearest integer. So one by one, our first equation was P is equal to A B power T. Okay, now we know that first thing first, we have this two information, which is P is 40 when the value of T was 10. That is my equation number one. Next one, we have P was 45 when the value of T was 13. That is my equation number two. So now all we can do is that we can take number 2 divided by number 1, right? Or you can solve simultaneously as well. It is the same thing. You will have on top, number 2 will be 45 A B 13 over number 1, which is 40 A B 10. Simplify, that should be A cancel out, that will be 3 divided by 5, that should be 1. So let's try directly. 45 divided by 40, that should be 1.125. So right now we have B power 3 is 1.125. So B will be cubic root of 1.125. That will be 1.04 as your answer for this one. Okay, that is 2 decimal place. This is shown as required. Now we have to use this answer to find the value of A correct to the nearest integer. So replace back in your main equation. So we have 40 is equal to A times B power 10. This is 1.04 power 10. Okay, so we have A has to be 40 divided by 1.04 power 10. So power 10 will be this. 40 divided by answer, that should be 27.0116792. So A will be 27, correct to the nearest integer. That's for part A. Now for part B, we have to find the population, find the value of P in the time equal to 20, giving your answer to the nearest million. So let's do that. You will have what? So right now our equation is P is equal to A is 27, times B 1.04 power T. So replace, you will have P is equal to 27, 1.04 power 20. So 27 times 1.04 power 20. That will be 59.16. Now, to the nearest million, we have to make this become integer, so it is simply 59 million, right? That should be your answer. Now for part C, in January of which year will the population be over 100 million for the first time? So let's do that. So we're trying to find the value of time, right? When the population P has to be 100 million. Okay, let's find out. So again, we have the same equation, which is P equal to 27 times 1.04 power T. Replace this one back here, you will have 100, 27, 1.04 power T. Simplify, divide by 27, you will have 100 over 27 is 1.04 power T, right? And then simplify. So to bring this down, as you can see, let me rewrite this. We have 1.04 power T is 100 over 27. Now to bring the t down, what can we do? We can apply ln on both sides. You have ln 4t, ln of 100 over 27. So bring this down. That will be t. Ln of 1.04 is ln of 100 over 27. Okay, so let's see what happens. So t has to be ln of this value divided by ln of 1.04. So let's see what do we get. So 100 divided by 27, ln of the value divided by ln of 1.04. That should be 33.38. So, which means in which year, so this is the value of t, but not the year again. So, well, the population we over 100,000 for the first time. So, if you think, you might say we can have two values, right? If you think, at first you will think because it is 33.38, we will see t is equal to 33. But now this cannot be the answer if you think, because if you take t to be 33, it will be less than the required number of years to get the value of p. It will not be possible. If you replace t in your main equation, p will be less than this. So for that reason, we have to take the next integer, which is t equal to 34. So because of that, we can conclude that the year will be, which year? That should be 2000, because initially we begin measuring from 2000 plus the time of 34. That will be 2034 will be the year. For the first time, it will be more than 100 million. That's the idea in this question. Now, of course, it'll be much simpler if I just wrote my equation as such. This has to be more than p. So, another way, what we can do right now. So basically, this is the right answer, but obviously, you could have written your equation more like this. It could be 27 times 1.04 more than 100. And then solve for the value of t, should give you more than 33.838. So t has to be the next number, which is 34. So you get something like this for your answer, and should be the year. But the year is 2034. That should be the answer for the question. Okay, that will be question number 8. Now let's move on to question number 9. A particle moves in a straight line such that t seconds after passing a point O, its displacement from the point O is given by this. Okay, that is the first thing. Now part 1, we have to find the expressions for the velocity and the acceleration of the particle at time t. As we guys know, v is equal to ds by dt. That will be exponential 2t times 2 minus 10 exponential t minus 12 plus 0. That should be 2 exponential 2t minus 10 exponential t minus 12. Now for the acceleration, you know it is ds dv by dt. That will be 4 exponential 2t minus 10 exponential t, and that will be 0. So this will be your answer for the acceleration, and this is the velocity. Now for part B, find the time taken when the particle is at rest. At rest it is and v equal to 0. Find the value of t when v is 0. So pretty easy. As you can see here, we have the equation, which is 2 exponential 2t minus 10 exponential t minus 12. That is your value of v, right? Now equate that to 0 to see what happens. So now we have an equation to solve. But the first thing we can do is, as you can see, it is kind of hard to solve this directly. So we can try to use substitution. So let u equal to exponential t. So you will have 2 u squared minus 10 u minus 12. Now divide by 2 everywhere, you can have u squared minus 5u minus 6 is 0. Now simplify. That will be u times u. 6 is 6 times 1. To get minus 5 has to be minus 6 plus 1. So u has to be minus 1 and u has to be 6. So again, now we are not trying to find the value of u, we're trying to find the value of t. So exponential t has to be minus 1. So t has to be ln of minus 1. So here we have exponential t has to be 6. T has to be ln of 6. Here it is not possible. If you check, ln of minus 1, not possible. But ln of 6 has to be, t has to be 1.79, correct you, 3SF for your answer. That should be t at the time, so the time t is 1.79 when the particle is at rest at v equal to 0. Now for part C, we have to find the acceleration at this time. So basically find the value of a at t equal to ln of 6. So as we have seen, a is given by, or it was found to be, 4 exponential 2t minus 10 exponential t. That will be a 4 exponential 2 ln of 6 minus 10 exponential ln of 6. So simplify. That will be 4 exponential ln, we send this over here, you will have 36 minus 10 exponential ln of 6. Now these two will cancel out, right? You have to know this. So you will have 4 times 36 minus 10 times 6. That should be 84 for your value. 84 meters per second square for the acceleration at that time. Okay, so that will be your answer for question number 9. Okay, now let's move on to question number 10. The gradient of a normal to the curve at any point is given by this. Okay, interesting. Good to know. Given that the curve passes to the point 1, 4, show its equation is given by this. Okay, so we have to use this information to find the answer. Now, as we know, gradient of normal multiplied by gradient of tangent is equal to minus 1. So we have, this is normal, that'll be x over x plus 1 multiplied by this is minus 1. So finally, from this we can equate gradient of tangent has to be minus x plus 1 over x. So now we know something is that, what is the gradient of tangent? It is simply dy by dx. So dy by dx is equal to minus 1 minus x over x. So from that we conclude this part. Now to find equation of the curve, we are trying to find the y value. As you must know, y is equal to integration of dy by dx. So that will be minus x minus 1 over x dx, right? That is y. Now let's simplify. You will have minus x over x minus 1 over x dx, right? So 1 by 1, that will be minus 1 over x dx. So simplify. That will become minus x, that will become minus ln of x. Plus c, of course, for the constant of integration. Now let's find the value of c. We have to use the passing point, which is 1, 4. So 1, 4, this is your value of x, value of y. So x will be 4. This will be minus 1 minus ln of 1 plus c. Now this will become 0. You can check. Ln of 1 is 0, right? And c has to be 4 plus 1, that will be 5. So finally, y has to be minus x minus ln of x plus 5. Or we can rewrite this as required 5 minus ln of x minus x. This is shown as required. Right here, shown as required for this one. That is for part A of the question. Okay, so now moving on to part B, we have to find in the form of y equal to mx plus c the equation of the tangent to the curve at the point S. Now, as you know, tangent is a straight line. To find the equation of a straight line, we must first find its gradient of tangent. Now we know this is equal to simply dy by dx as well at the point of x equal to 3. Now what is dy by dx? As we have seen from part 1, we have realized that dy by dx is minus x plus 1 over the value of x. Okay, that is the first part. Now we have to find the corresponding value at the value of x equal to 3. Right? So you will have minus 4 over 3. Okay, that's the first step. Now since we know the gradient, we have to find the passing point. We know the point is 3. And what is the y value? Replace back in your equation, which we know from part 1, we have shown that it was equal to y equal to 5 minus ln of x minus x. That is from part 1. That was shown that this is the equation of the curve. Now when x equal to 3, what is the value of y? That will be 5 ln of 3 minus 3. That should be 2 minus ln of 3. Okay, so the point will be 3, 2 minus ln of 3. Okay, so let's see what happens. So now we have the passing point. This is your x and y. So we have to find the equation of the tangent. Pretty easy. Take y minus the corresponding value over x minus the corresponding value equal to the gradient. Now we can just multiply this over here. You will have y. That will be equal to minus 4 over 3 times this will be times x, and then plus, that will be value of 4, and then we have sent this over here, become plus 2 minus ln of 3. Right, if you do one by one, you will get this. Now y will be minus 4 over 3x. That will be minus ln of 3 plus 6. As you can see, this is in the form of y equal to mx plus c. This is c, this is m. And this is your question number 11. Let's move on to question number 11. So here we have the curve of y equal to this, right, between the value of 0 and 4. Now, first thing first, we can simplify this to what? What is root of 16 minus x squared? That will be 16 minus x squared power half. Okay, that's something we must know. Now, part 1, we have to find the exact coordinate of the stationary point of the curve. Now, whenever you see this, we know that we are trying to find dy by dx at the point equal to 0. That's the main idea we have to think about. Now, how do you find dy by dx of this equation? As you can see, it is a product. X times this, that will be a product, so we have to use the product rule. That will be dy by dx is equal to, the first one will be x, then times d by dx of this one, right? And then plus the first one multiplied by d by dx of the first one. Now simplify to see what happens. You will have x, this is this, you will have half 16 minus x squared become minus half multiplied by minus 2x. Then of course plus root of 16 minus x squared times 1. Now simplify, this will go away, and you will have that'll be x times this will be minus x squared over the value of this 16 minus x squared plus this. Now we can simplify that if you want to, but there's no need. This is dy by dx. We have to equate to 0 to find the stationary point. We can send this over here. You will have what? You will have, or this over here, you will have x squared over this value equal to this. Now we can just cross multiply. You will have x squared is equal to 16 minus this. So that will become 2x squared equal to 16. X squared will be the value of 8, so x has to be root of 8. That will be for your value of x. Now, of course, you would say we have plus root of 8. But why don't we take the negative value? Is because if you look here, x cannot be negative. That's why it can only be the positive value. Now, for the value of y, replace x back in the main equation. That will be root of 8, 16 times 8. That will be what? Root of 8. That will be 8, and that will be 8. Right, if that makes sense. So we have your answer right here. That will be, the point will be what? Will be root of 8 and then 8 for the point of the stationary points. That will be part 1 of the question. Now for part B of the question, we have to find d by dx of this, and hence find the area by the curve. So one step by one. So let's first find this. So d by dx of this will be pretty easy. It is simply 3 over 2 first multiplied by this minus 1, that should be. So 3 over 2 minus 1 should be half. Then multiplied by d by dx of the value inside, that should be minus 2x. Now simplify, that will be minus 3x, and we have 16 minus x squared half, which is the same as minus 3x root of 16 minus x squared. Okay, so that's the first step. Now, here we have to use the understanding that integration is the reverse of differentiation. So what do I mean? When I apply differentiation to my function here, my expression, I get this value. But the reverse process, if I apply integration of the value here, of the value that we get here, right, it should give me my initial expression, which is 16 minus x squared 3 over 2. So that's the main concept we're going to be using for this question. So the question here is we have to find the area enclosed by the curve and the line. So pretty easy. We have to find integration of that curve, which is x 16 minus x squared by dx between the limits of 3 and 1. Now to find this, if you observe, this is almost the same as this. We have only to eliminate the value of minus 3. And how can you do that? You have to divide by minus 3 everywhere. So from here you will have x 16 minus this 3 and 1. That will become minus 1 over 3 over here, 16 square 3 over 2, and the limits of 3, 1. Now simplify. Take out the value of minus 1 over 3 first. You will have, first is 16 minus 9, 3 over 2 minus 16 minus 1. That should be the value of 15, 3 over 2. So let's see what do we get. That will be minus 1 over 3. That should be 7, 3 over 2 minus 15, 3 over 2. So 3 divided by 2 is this, so 7 power the answer, minus 15 power the answer, times minus 1 over 3, that should be 13.2 units square as the area under the graph enclosed by those two lines. And that will be your question number 11. Okay, so now let's move on to question number 12. The diagram shows a shape consisting of two circles of radius 3 and 4. So this is the first circle, radius 3. This is the other one, radius 4. Now we have centers A and B, as seen here, A and B, right? And which are 5 centimeters apart. Good to know. Now the circles intersect at C and D as shown here. So we have C and D, while the points of intersection. Now if you want to do something first, you can always try to join them. For example, we can join B and D, and then we can join D and A. Okay, so as you can see, these two are basically the same shape. That's something we can conclude because of them being circles, and they must be symmetric at this point. So that's the first thing we can draw. And then what else? The line AC and BC are tangents, so AC and BC are tangent, which means this is 90 degrees right here, and we have to find the angle CAB in radians. CAB in radians. So where's CAB? CAB, we have to find this one. So what can we do now is we can first take out the shape. For example, take out the triangle ACB, right? You have this. It's A, B, and C. This is 3, 4, and 5. You're trying to find this angle, which is angle CAB. Now, because it is a right angle triangle, we can use SOHCAHTOA to find this angle. So, ka, and toa. Now, we know we can use whatever side you want to use. Let's use tan. Why not? Let's use tan. It is up to you. You can choose, because we know all the three sides, you can choose any sides you want. You can do choose sine or cos, it's the same thing. So let's want to choose tan. That will be tan of the angle A. Has to be opposite side will be 4/3. A has to be tan inverse of that. Here we have to use radians. Tan inverse of 4/3, that should be 0.927. So the angle CAB is 927 radians. Okay, that is part A of the question. Now if you observe, if this is 0.927, what is the whole thing? If you think, that should be answer times 2. That should be 1.85, right? Now, if this is 90, this also has to be 90. Okay? And we know the sum of all the angles in this quad has to be 2 pi, which is 360 degrees. So 2 pi minus pi. So minus pi by 2 times 2, which is this 2, and then minus 1.85, that has to be 1.29. So this will be 1.29, correct, to 3SF. Okay, so that's something we can use for the next questions. Now for part B, we have to find the perimeter of the whole shape. So let's do that. We have to find the distance around the whole shape. So we have to find this distance and this distance, right? So pretty easy. Because this is 1.29, what is this one? This has to be 2 pi minus answer. That will be 4.99. And what is this one? That should be 2 pi minus 1.85. That should be 4.43. Okay, so now because we know the angles, we can find the length of arc CD and length of arc CD, this side. So let's find the smaller one first. That will be, so smaller arc, we can use the formula for length of arc, which is r theta. R is radius 3, theta is 4.43, plus the bigger arc, which is this one. That will be, radius is 4 times the angle 4.99. 3 times 4.43 plus 4 times 4.99. That will be 33.29. So 3SF, 33.3 as your answer. So the perimeter will be 33.3 centimeters. So the concept is very simple as always. We try our best to break everything down into pieces and see what can we derive to find the answer. That's the main idea behind everything that we do. Now let's find the area of the whole shape. So how would you do that? So same thing again. So we can first find the area of this one, right? This area of a sector with a radius 3 and angle this. So we just need to know the formula for area. So area will be what? Will be so let's first break it down. So we have number 1 to find, right, which is this one right here, this one. This is number 2. This is the big one to find. And then we have number 3 and number 4 for the area, if that makes sense. So we have 4 pieces to put together. Now, something we realize is that, you know what, number 3, is equal to number 4, right? So we can just find one of them and just multiply by 2 afterwards, so we can have these two together. But first we can find these two. So let me find area of number 1. So number 1, as you can see, it is area of a sector, right? Of a sector of a circle with radius of 3, and the angle is 4.43. Now how do you find area of sector? It is half r square theta. This is the formula we have to know for area of sector. Now number 1, that will be half r square is 3 square, and the angle here that we see is 4.43. That's the first part. Okay, so let's simplify. That will be what? Half times 9 times 4.43, that should give you 19.935. Okay, now let's move on to number 2. Number 2, if you observe, it is this big sector, right? This one. Now same thing again, how to find the area of sector? That will be half times radius square, which is 4 square. Angle will be 4.99, as we have seen here, 4.99, and just multiply to see what do we get. Half times 16 times 4.99, that should be 39.92. And now for area number 3 or number 4, let's find number 4. As you can see, it is a right angle triangle. Area can be found by using half times base times height, right? So number 3 has to be half times base. The base is what? It is 3. Height is 4. That has to be 6. So there will be 2 here, so 6, right? So finally, number 4 as well, it's the same triangle, also be 6. Now we just have to add them together to find the area. So your answer is this one, plus 0.935 plus 6 plus 6. That should be 71.855. That will be 71.9 for the area, centimeter square, correct to 3SF. That will be the area that we have. That question is question number 12. So that is the last question of this paper. I hope that was somewhat helpful. As always, thank you for watching. I will see you soon.